No matter where you are in highs or lows, just say my name and they smite my foes. Who am I? Call me Gung Ho Dynamo. And this is going to be a bit of a special episode where I'm just going to make a tier list with 5 points.
A
Yeah,
long-awaited.
we're just going to make a just casual tier list of every character slash emblem in the game, and just based on our experiences with this. So so as you see, we just got the basic tiers here, with my own little personal flair. So to first get started, I would just say the Illyrs are just very solid. Sure, they
Yeah.
start out as like possibly the shittiest lord I've ever used in a Fire Emblem game, aside from obviously Roy, but like that still doesn't really give the excuse of having one of the worst promoted lord classes I've ever seen. But like the thing is, they're flexible. Cause Divine Dragon, why are fists the way they are?
Oy vey.
Making it take an average of your magic and strength stats, and only making tiny baby damage instead. And it's such a situational weapon. And it's not even like Lear has a good magic growth, unlike Byleth, but I guess they didn't want to make a Byleth again because of how broken they were. And I think I'm gonna just go in the order of when you recruit units. So let's just make the obvious choice and just, yeah.
Oh, well, now, hold on a second. I do have something to say about Alir.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing with Alir is that, like, if you are looking at Alir strictly from, like, combat potential, then, yeah, that's when Alir starts to fall off, because Alir just straight up doesn't have the stats for it. I mean, I know that Alir has pretty good speed, dexterity, and surprisingly good defense, but the rest of their stats are just a little bit too inconsistent, especially their strength. Now, it's not
Oh boy,
with...
do I have it! Boy, oh boy, do I have the story.
Yeah, I still remember, like, your Alir got really screwed in the beginning, so you had to do like a whole bunch of like wacky experiments just to keep your Alir alive.
Yep. Yep.
Like, but another thing with Alir is that if you decide to go for like a different route and decide to make Alir more supportive, like in one of my playthroughs right now, my Alir is a martial master, and it's honestly working out much better than I expected it to. Not because like for combat or anything, just what was its personal skill called again? Like divine something.
It's grants +3 true damage and reduces damage taken by 1.
Yeah, like that's some good stuff. Like even like say you wanted to plop Yunaka next to Alir and they want to do damage, but we all know how much someone like Yunaka suffers from damage, but their personal skill is true damage. So if you want to say poison an armored unit, you can now do that with thanks to Alir. So I think Alir does have good props as more on the support line.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But again, they still have very inconsistent stats, but like eventually they'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually. Anyways,
and besides, you're forced to deploy them anyway, so they better be good.
Yeah. Where is oh, not shit. That's not what to do. Okay, there we go. Klon.
He's the F tier.
Yeah, I would say he's more take it or leave it.
All right, you need to explain.
I mean, again, yes, he's one of the worst units at the start of everyone's playthrough, until you get a second seal. Like, yeah, sure, he did strangely well as a mage knight in my let's play, and in maddening I already benched him because I already had other units I had in mind, and it was just not working out for Klon. Because obviously near like the end of my playthrough, Swordmaster Klon wrecked house. But when you have a, for some reason, 35% strength growth and like 15% magic growth, and they start you out as a mage, man, I don't know why they had to start him out like that. Like, he could have been a soldier, because literally, there's so many classes in Engage that just don't get used.
Halberdiers, where are they?
No, they don't exist.
Exactly.
Then you have From, who is kind of usable if you really put in the work to use her.
Wait, there is no. I'm sorry, but I need to go back to the clan thing. My biggest problem with clan is that yes, if you second seal him, he could into a physical class, he could turn out decently strong. But the problem is that because you get him very early, like chapter 2, you're basically stuck with clan as in a class that he absolutely sucks at for at least 5 chapters. So he's essentially stuck in a very bad situation where he's barely doing enough damage unless they're in armor. Now, yeah, sure, he's doubling them, but he's not really doing enough damage to them.
Yeah,
And
he's stuck.
if you
He's stuck like that for like 7 whole chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, so say someone like Anna, for example. Yeah, sure, they are really unfortunate as well, being stuck in Axe Fighter. But I think if you do things in a certain order, when you do Anna's paralog, you already have a second seal right then and there. So you could like just second seal her into something like Mage right away. You just can't do that with Clan, and if you do second seal him into, say, a Swordmaster or something, he's still going to be a worse Kagetsu at the end of the day. So, I don't know. Like, personally, like, I'm fine with putting Clan in Take It or Leave It, but personally, I think he's the worst unit in the game.
Yeah, that's true. What else about it? About him? Uh...
You got anything that like about Clan, or are we just moving on to Fran?
Yeah, I honestly couldn't really think of much else because yeah, no, you're totally right. He's just very weird. Fram, on the meantime, used to be fastest unit in the game until the DLC came along. She can be good if you really put in the work for her, like how I did in Maddening. I decided to make her all the way to level 20 and just make her into a general for funny 16 build Fram, because she's good, but like, okay, maybe usable is a bit on the iffy side, because she is the only unit in the game with a 0% build growth. So you're really...
Hortensia also has a 0% build growth, does she not?
Yeah, but she uses stabs, not fight.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because, like, Hortensia is supposed to do one thing, and that's to heal.
Right, okay.
And yet, for some reason in the story, they make her kill everything. Fram's good. It's just, you just really have to put in the work early game if you really want to use your sanity for that.
She's also really lucky to have supports with some of the better units in the game, like Chloe, Gold Mary, Kagetsu. She got really lucky with support bonuses in this game.
That's true. And also, I'm pretty sure her signature ability is I think it's hits. I think. Hold
on. No, I think it's a void actually. Yeah, it's a void. Let me look it up. Just
Klon's.
No, Klon is hit. Klon is the one that's hit.
Okay.
So yeah, no, Crimson Shear is a void. Yeah, a void plus 10.
I know Vander's is crits, but
which
why would you use Vander?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no. Fram is useful if you decide to put in the work for her, and easily can become one of your fastest units in the game. Because again, fists are bad. But then again, Chain Guard is broken.
Yeah, like Chi Adepts are some of the best class types in this game for sure.
No doubt. And now we move on to the Fiorne units.
Oh boy, here we
Oh,
go.
oh, chronic disease, man. Why did you have to be the way you are? Uh, Man, I had so much hope when I had Alfred in my party, but then I realized, like, holy fuck, you're bad. Like,
Like,
I know you're going through your whole phase of I'm using him in my maddening, and I for some reason think he's broken, but realistically, is he really that good?
yeah, no, I know. Like, I know that I've become a sort of Alfred apologist in the past few weeks, but no, I would be crazy to put Alfred any higher than take it or leave it. Honestly, take it or leave it is too generous for Alfred. I still think Alfred's not that good.
All right then.
Dude, dude. Nah, that ain't right. Wait, okay, wait, but then if that's the case, are we really about to say that Klon is better than Alfred?
Yes.
Oh boy. I don't know if I agree with that.
The man gets Pavis as his exclusive skill when he's promoted. Pavis.
Yeah,
And he's not even that tanky.
yeah, no, I mean it's a good no. Honestly, Golden Lotus is a very good skill. The problem is that it's on Alfred. That's the problem.
The man has very bad growths. Like, let's be real.
No, actually, his growths are honestly pretty good. It's just his base stats that are really bad. The dude gets doubled by sword fighters in this chapter, and he's supposed to have an advantage towards them.
Exactly. He's so hard to use at the start. And, like, that only implies that, what? Are you actually supposed to grind with him or use your stat boosters on him this early in the game? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it feels like the game really wants you to do that with Alfred in order to, or at least just spend some time investing with him, which, I mean, yeah, I guess you can do, but you can do that with everyone.
Pretty much. Now, Etier, which I would say is usable. Early game archers always have the trend of, I one-shot every flyer at the starting map, but then I fall off super fast. Etier has the strength to back it up. And sure, her stats are a bit weird for what she is. Also having one of the most niche personal skills in the game. Yeah.
I think it was like
Energize,
if she
meaning
uses a vulnerary.
Yeah,
or
use a
something, then she
vulnerary gets you strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's
Hmm.
oh Etier.
I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about Etier
And
being
the worst
unusable
part is,
because
she has a bad dex growth for an archer.
oh yeah, like I think her dex is
25.
Yeah, 25. 25. Oh my god, that's much worse than I thought it was.
Yeah,
Wow,
no,
okay.
Etier has a really bad dex growth for an archer, meaning she's not going to be the most reliable after the first few maps. But easily reclass her into something else and just take advantage of her insanely high strength growth.
Wait a minute. So, but if she still struggles in the archer class because of her dex growth, then wouldn't usable be a little too generous in that case?
No, you can still make it work. You can still make it work. Like you told me how Warrior Etier is a monster.
That is true. I mean, she's not the best warrior in Engage. It's still probably someone like Panette or something, but Etier will definitely get the job done. It certainly helps
at
that
least
with the addition of the
Etier is
well.
put into a class that uses strength.
Yeah.
Clown.
And yet you're still putting him in take it or leave it.
I mean, if you really want to use him and you reclass him, then yeah, he'll work.
Yeah, as a bootleg Kagetsu, sure.
So, and then we have the Boucher God, who I will just say is usable. I'll admit, I really did get stupidly lucky with Boucheron. Boucheron has chain attacks. That makes him pretty handy in the early game. Again, highest build growth in the game. Well, used to be highest until DLC came along.
No, I still think Boucheron has the highest.
You sure?
Yes, his is 20%. Like the highest Yeah, actually, no, not none of the DLC. Like at least in terms of personal like build growth, none of them even come close to Bouchron. Like
Oh yeah, you're right.
so, no, Bouchron still has that niche.
That's true. I mean, like at least you can use axes really well. You just have to not make him into a berserker. Uh, make him a warrior or something. Go weird and make him a great knight like I did. Um, well, hero Boucheron still worked. Well, anyone as a hero works, but yeah, having a really bad strength growth for what he is, you just have to like get over that hurdle through some class manipulation, and you'll be pretty set. But
I can't.
he is
Go ahead.
will always be a fan favorite of mine, just of my crit symphony that I have obtained with Boucheron in my playthrough.
Huh. I can't believe I'm about to be the Boucheron apologist here. I think that Boucheron is on the higher levels of usable, and personally, I think Boucheron's one of the better Fiorese units to invest in this game. Now, if you were to tell me that like 2 months ago, I would be like, hell no, Boucheron's going right near the bottom. But honestly,
Exactly.
Boucheron has so much merit, especially because apparently I also found, I'm not sure if you told me this, but apparently he also has the highest dex growth in the game.
I'm fucking sorry, what?
Yeah, no, he has the highest dex growth in the game at 50%.
Oh my god, he's
I mean,
tied
it's
with
tied with-
Kagetsu.
He's tied with Kagetsu and I think Anna.
Yeah, Anna too.
But
Oh my god,
yeah,
you're fucking
no.
right. So he's like the mythical accurate axe fighter.
yeah, so like honestly, if I put when I finish my playthrough, depending on how it goes, honestly, I may even be inclined to put Boucheron in very solid, but low very solid, because
Yeah, that's
again,
what I
he
just
still
did.
has the strength growth.
Yeah, but
Like,
okay, yeah, I guess you're right. I think people just disregard him because of that strength growth and also early game axe fighter, I guess.
yeah, but but he has a low strength growth. But the thing is that he's actually in a class that helps his strength growth a little bit. So I think he has 20 base strength, but then
Yeah.
add axe fighter at the beginning, and he has
bumps
40,
it up
which
to 40,
is-
yeah.
yeah, which I mean, it's still not fantastic or anything, but it's still okay. It's certainly better than Bond stats as a mage.
Yeah, and the other important thing about Boucheron is, well, yeah, no, he's gonna hit, he's gonna crit. He's definitely not gonna get doubled anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's just axes are just a wonky weapon to use, but you just have to give him that chance and reclass him to something else, and he will blow your mind.
And honestly, he ain't even all that wonky with axes anyway, because he has the highest build growth in the game. He can make it work.
Yep, just don't use him in the Fell Xenologue. That is not even an option.
We'll see. I'll see about that.
Just don't. I've seen that, like, if you've paid attention to the stats, Boucheron has pitiful strength, has a pitiful strength stat. It's not worth it. And also, Berserker, which is tied for worst class in the game.
Fair enough.
Anyways, Celine. Oh, how we thought you were good. How we thought you were good. Okay, I will say you're usable when you get her. And well, I think she's just useful. She's just not going to be spectacular.
Yeah, and she certainly does not have longevity because
yeah.
like Vidame is such a weird class. I mean, granted, it's not a bad one, but
she's
I wouldn't...
versatile. That's
yeah,
what
but
she
I
does.
think that really works against her more than it helps her, because by trying to make her versatile, she doesn't excel in anything, and her growths are, especially her offensive ones, are very weird because her strength and magic are very close to each other, but they're not spectacular. I think her personal strength is like what, 25 or
35.
something? 35, and her magic is 25.
No, her magic is 30.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like personal growths and all that stuff. Like I'm not factoring in her class.
Yeah, I know, that's her personal growths.
Really? I thought it was 25.
Nope. Oh wait, never mind. You're right. It is 25 for strength. I was looking at her dex.
Mm.
Yeah. And also considering she only has like 4 base build, and with a 5% build growth, tomes are gonna get too heavy for her very fast.
Yeah, like
And also swords also will get too heavy for her very fast, meaning the Levin sword will be more of a hindrance than a help. And the fact that she gets Ignis in Vidame as well.
yeah, I don't know why they gave Ignis to Saline.
Yeah,
I
considering she's
genuinely do not
almost
know.
never ever gonna proc it.
Bro, they should have given that stuff to Alfred. I mean, yeah, he
Excuse me.
probably look. Alfred may not like be that consistent, but at least with Ignis, it makes more sense to put it on Alfred.
I suppose. Uh, Chloe.
Easy S tier.
I have never used a Chloe. I just could not. I just keep getting bad Chloes. But I do understand the merit in having a early game flyer, which is why I think I'll put you about here. Because like, yes, she's very fast. She's actually no, she's insanely fast.
One of the fastest units in the game.
Yeah, at 55. What else is there? Yeah, 55. Your strength is, well, I guess given you are Pegasus Knight, yeah, I would expect that. She also has yeah, 35 in magic growth. So, Griffin Knight was just made for her.
Yeah, like, and the thing with Chloe is that ever since with the addition of the well, if you use it correctly, you obviously get SP books, which means it's insanely easy to get Chloe Lance Power. So if you really aren't a fan of her lowest strength, Lance Power really fixes that.
Oh yeah, taking account into the well. Man, I wish I had that during my playthrough. But yeah, no. Given that she is one of the very few flyers in this game, she is definitely not bad, I will say. What else has she got? Her res is surprisingly low for a lance flyer. Yeah, only 25.
Huh. Would you look at that?
And then we got Louis.
The actual Jagan of the game, very solid.
I think I'll just say take it or leave it.
Really?
Like, I mean, he's amazing when you first get him, but then you realize, wow, armors are shit in this game.
Okay, that low-key disagree with. I don't think armored units are bad in this game, or at least not Louis. I think Louis makes an excellent case for armor knights because for one, they have pretty good they have strangely good emblem benefits. Like I know that with Micaiah, for example, if you give Louis Micaiah as an armor knight, when you use Great Sacrifice, you can just give defense +1 to all allies as opposed to, obviously healing them up. It just comes with it. But you give everyone defense +1, even if they're at full HP. So that's just major SP farming right there for Louis.
I suppose that's true. I guess giving Louis the Micaiah ring at that point would never ever cross my mind. It's just that like well, you remember what happens over chapter 17 when I tried to use him. He had horrific accuracy.
Sure,
he landed those hits when he really shouldn't have, but his dex is not the greatest. And given that he's supposed to be a tank, what's a tank if it can't hit anything? So
that is true. Like,
yeah,
because the thing with Louis is that like he is very limited on the jobs that he can do, but he does his job very damn well. So because of that, I kind of feel like take it or leave it is a little too harsh on him. Like, I personally would at the very least put him in usable because he's certainly not worse than Etier. Like, no, that's just not
Okay,
true.
I guess fair point, honestly. Fair point. Uh, Jean. Like, let's be real here. It's it's a villager that is a
Okay.
healer, meaning you don't even have to try to put him in danger to level him up. The levels just come right to Jean. And given that well, given that how amazing he gets with his expertise, he will just become a monster with stupidly high magic once you make him to a sage.
Or if you turn him into a general, he will just straight up have a 100% defense growth.
That too, but learn
Like,
from Excelbrum and who got his Jean nuked by magic, I think. But
I think so. Yeah, I remember that.
Jean
Like,
is insanely good for a villager because like sure okay because let's look back at the other aptitude users. Donald was the first time they used this. Recruiting him is a pain because you have to get him a level up in that map. And the
and yet,
only way to
still
do
not the
that,
worst one.
is to get surround an archer and let him poke at them. But Awakening, Donald I think has like the highest luck growth in the game, and that's even before aptitude, that allows Donald to become a mercenary, get arms thrift, and just have unlimited weapon uses. So you can just forge a killer weapon on him and watch him wreck house.
That be
And
true.
then Mozu,
The worst one.
yeah, the classes and fates are just weird. And yeah, Mozu's just not that good.
Like, she has, even with aptitude, her HP is still garbage, and she just does not work in Conquest unless you turn her into a Dread Fighter. But is that technically DLC or
It's
is that
DLC because you need to have two versions within the same cartridge.
right? Yeah. So no, it is considered DLC. So and that's her only good class. Otherwise, Mozu's just bad. Mozu's just bad.
Yep. Yep.
And then there's Cyril, but we just make everyone a Wyvern Rider in Three Houses, so nothing matters in that game. Exactly. So nothing matters in Three Houses. It's just Persona Emblem anyway, so we don't talk about gameplay in Three Houses.
But yeah, no, Jean is just super easy to raise up, so it doesn't even hurt to have him in your party. Now we move on to Barodia.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So, immediately starting off, we have Alchrist. He's very solid, but he's a low very solid. Because, yes, he is a much better archer than Etier. His strength growth just makes him a bit inconsistent. But...
yeah, like, to the point where he's kind of relying on Luna a little bit.
no, he relies on Luna a lot.
Yeah, he does. And he doesn't have exactly the longevity as a certain other unit that kind of relies on a proc skill for damage, but we'll get to her.
At least he has like a good proc skill, as well as just a fantastic dex, speed, and also surprisingly tanky for an archer such as him.
And a physical or resistance?
Physical.
Okay.
Yeah, no. No unit in Barodia can take a magic attack. Like, let's just
Except
get
for
that out the way.
Citrine.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's actually, yeah, no, you're totally right. Alchrist is still a kind of fantastic unit. It's just, yeah, no. He's just inconsistent, and you can just end up with a bad Alchrist on one of your runs.
Yeah, that's true.
Give him the Lin Ring and watch him soar.
Yeah, no, I feel like the Lin Ring was made for Alchrist. He makes such good use of that.
Oh wait, whoops! I actually forgot about Anna's Paralog. Yeah, Yeah, no.
Okay, all right, no. All right, okay, okay. The thing about Anna is that I, because her potential to snowball is so damn high, and yes, she does. Unfortunately, is stuck in a bad class, similar to Klon, but unlike Klon, as I mentioned before when we were talking about him, if you do things in a certain way, you kind of already have a second seal to use on Anna. And sure, if you use the second seal on her right away, you revert her back to level 1, so technically it takes longer for her to promote. That being said, at least she's in a good class, in a class that's good for her. So
I guess so. Like, the other issue is, if you want to save up that second seal for someone else, how the hell do you want to grind her without getting her getting killed? Because axes are just too heavy for her. And do you really want to use the
Right.
Micaiah ring on her when that could easily be on someone more important?
that is true. Like, you see, this is why I think Klon should be in I Won't Mind If You Die, because I do think Anna is better than Klon. I do think she's better than Klon.
Like, yeah, because, like, I suppose so. I suppose, but, like, let's see here. The thing is, you get more time with Klon, and you can actually get more levels with him, so when you reach Anna's Paralog, he might already be level 10 for you to promote and then reclass. Meanwhile, Anna starts at level 5, and you get her after Yunaka's map. So
Right.
that's like a much smaller threshold to level her up and then use a seal immediately. So you're gonna be like in the bridge map trying to level up Anna and realize like, oh my god, everything kills her if they touch her. So
I mean, I suppose so, but like the way that second seal works with like the unpromoted unit is that you could unpromote them, like unpromote them. What? You can just use the second seal on them right away. And the argument for Klon is that yeah, he could reach level 10 by the time that you get to Anna, but what if he doesn't? And even with those levels, it's not going to be good for Klon because yes, he does have a good strength growth, but while in Mage, it's still only 35. So Klon's strength honestly won't even be that good.
well, statistically
in
speaking,
comparison.
they'll probably be equal at that point. So who knows? You could just make him into like well, at the end of the day, I did make him to a swordmaster that uses 11 sword, but I get your point. It's just the availability of Anna is just such a bad place. Like, if you got Anna much earlier, then I would consider moving her up, because you'd actually have more time with the Micaiah ring. But Anna's just a weird unit, and I'm just not gonna budge. Because like at least with Alfred, he can not die when initiating, but meanwhile Anna's stuck with axes that is too heavy for her, and she barely hits, and it will get doubled.
No, honestly, like no, my because I don't actually have an issue with Anna's Anna's placement herself. I actually don't mind her in the place of I won't mind if you die because you're bad. Like I don't mind her placement in that at all. What bothers me about that placement is that Clan is higher and something that you literally just said a few moments ago would be like at that terms they'll be sort of equal to each other. It's just kind of weird that Clan is rated higher at this point. Like,
I get that. It's just that Klon still at least has the potential to be useful. Like, even in like the early maps, he can at least kill something without getting killed himself. Anna in her base class has that problem. And yes, you can second seal her. It's just the matter of, do you really want to use your second seal this early on a gamble of a unit? I guess you could actually, but
you know what? That's fair. I mean, yeah, no,
because you have to raise her all over again, and this is at the point where you should be promoting units.
Yeah, you know what? That is honestly fair. Plus, there are better. There even with Anna's like potential to snowball like really monstrously well, there are better candidates for the second seal, like Lapis. But we'll get to her. We'll get to her soon enough. No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. No, you are not putting Lapis that low. That is absolute propaganda.
They made her into a Myrmidon who cannot crit. Her gimmick is that she cannot crit. We've been over this.
That is the point of Lapis. She's not meant to be the crit Myrmidon. She's supposed to be the accurate one.
Then what's the point of a Myrm that cannot make enemies squeal and squirm? She cannot crit.
You have Kagetsu for that. And besides what I was just talking about with Anna, she's one of the best candidates for second sealing. Like, you can turn her into so many good options. And let this be a reminder. Lapis is one of the fastest units in the game. To the point where...
Then let's read out her growths out here for the people.
Here we go.
She has a, let's see here. Yeah, Lapis. 55% HP growth. 25% strength growth, which is 5 more than Boucheron.
Yes.
20% magic growth for some reason. 35 dex. 35% dex growth for a Myrmidon.
Well, that's what her personal skill is for. That it's to help out. It's to help out with that and to show that Lapis has a niche of fighting near her allies to help with that hit rate.
Yeah, but sure, that she'll be able to hit and dodge, but will she be able to kill them? Probably not, because she can't crit. Yeah, 55 speed. That's like her one facet. 35 defense and 30 res. It's solid.
It's honestly not bad for a Myrmidon.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, she'll survive, but again, she's not going to be able to kill them, and it will just be an awkward stalemate. 25 luck. 25 luck is, let's see here. I guess it's middle of the road. But then you get to her 5% build growth.
Okay. The thing about the whole build, like, argument is that, like, let's say this. If Lapis had only had, like, around 45 or 40% speed, then, yeah, her build would be more of a problem. But the thing is that because Lapis's speed is so high, it usually tends to offset some of like the issues with her build so that she can still wield some of the more heavier weapons and still probably get follow-up attacks with it because her speed is so good.
And speaking of, yeah, you reminded me. For some reason, in her debut chapter, they gave her a smash weapon. So, and they tried to demonstrate the gimmick of smash weapons by saying, hey, let me use this iron blade against a soldier wielding a lance on a void tile. That will obviously work.
Fun fact, because of that tutorial, there's actually a hidden flag on that lance ally, so they will always get hit no matter what.
But so will Lapis.
Well, yeah, that is true.
So yeah, meaning you have to immediately heal her up after that hits. Because, and also, I'm pretty sure because of that soldier getting knocked off the tile, it just makes it harder for people to finish off that soldier because the soldier gets knocked too far away.
I mean, to be fair, you have Citrine with Thunder that can shoot them from 3.
You also have a bunch of flyers coming in, so you have to handle them fast.
But
speaking of Citrine, Citrine is what is a mage. Sure, her speed is not... Well, yeah, no, her speed is not the greatest. But take a look at that magic stat.
Okay, wait. Before we move on to Citrine, are we really going to keep Lapis in that tier?
Fine, I'll move her up.
How far up? Come on! That's not fair.
I mean, look, I'll be real. I used Lapis twice. She let me down both times.
Yeah, but then, oh my
Fool me
god.
once, shame on me. Fool me, no. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Lapis is a trap.
Like, she has very similar like, in a way, if you really think about it, she has very similar performance values to Boucheron, if you
You get
really think
Boucheron
about
earlier. Again, availability here. Yeah, you're supposed to instantly promote Lapis, but that's using one of your precious Master Steals at this point.
Okay, but are you about to say that Lapis is worse than Alfred?
Yes.
Are you really about to say that? Worse than Klon?
Yes.
Nah, you crazy.
That's exactly
you
my
crazy.
You cannot fight me on this.
Nah. I won't fight you on this, but I'm just gonna consider the Lapis part of this tier list not canon. It's not canon.
Of course you would. Moving on. Diamants. You take it or leave it with Diamants.
That is true. Wait, also, I didn't mean to interrupt you about the whole Citrine thing, because I kind of just, like, sort of interrupted with Citrine because
yeah.
I was just flabbergasted.
Citrine has... Okay. Citrine's a very not tanky mage, but that's not Citrine's purpose here. Citrine only has one real use, and that is to just have a Thunder Tome, give her Dire Thunder, and then watch her blow things up.
Unfortunately, that's the only thing she can do well, unfortunately.
Yeah, that does have to involve trying to gamble with the bond rings, trying to get you know, Olwen.
Yeah, like, she's very limited in like what she's extremely limited in what she can do. She actually shares this trait with one other Brodian, but we'll get to him soon enough. I mean, in my opinion, we'll get to him soon enough.
But you could, but then again, she still has a very high, absurdly high magic growth, and she surprisingly is. I'm pretty sure. Okay, no. Okay, she is a magic tank, but again, not. I think she has one of the lowest HP growths in the game. Actually, no, she does have the lowest HP. Nope. Never mind, Hortensia has the lowest, but... And so does Vale.
Like 40%, and so does Vale. Yeah. And you know who else has also has a 40% strength growth, HP growth? Klon.
Yeah, but you get around that. But still.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but still, my point is...
Kloncologist talk.
Okay, my point stands. Citrine's usable units. Also, this is a bit biased, but she does have fantastic supports.
Like, in terms of, like, bonuses or just quality? Writing quality?
Writing quality.
Then yes, I 100% agree with you. Like, Citrine is such a funny character.
Yes, just use her out of enjoyment. Also, her personal skill, Generosity. This makes her into a bit of a pseudo-healer before you actually promote her. Since, yeah, she basically shares a vulnerary with someone else. So, that can be pretty useful.
Like, bottom line with Citrine is that she may not be the best unit in the game, but if you use her, you're based.
And also, she does blow things up if you get lucky. But, you know, she's gonna hit very hard.
Right.
Anyways, Diamant. There's nothing much to say about him. He is just...
He's Diamant.
Good on paper, not much on anything else.
I mean, to be fair, for the Brodia arc, which doesn't really last that long, unfortunately, but for the Brodia arc, Diamant is honestly fairly good.
Yeah, like, he's good on his map, but the second you step into Solm, his foot got stuck in the sand and he fell flat on his face. And with his sword stabbing him in the back as a result, crippling him because his dex growth is fucking awful.
Like, and even if you somehow got insanely lucky with his dex growth and got dex in every single level up,
too bad it's only capped at 22.
It caps at 22. And here's the thing: if you want to reclass Diamant as an attempt to get him better dexterity, you can't do that because his other stats tank as a result.
Yep. Oh man, why did they have to give you Soul?
Like, it just doesn't work for him because he'll just barely proc it.
And the worst part is, he has no stat growth that goes above 50, except for HP, obviously. But none of his stats go above. His strength growth is 30, which is lower than Klon's.
Right, yeah, like I mean obviously when you factor in his personal class, some of his growths do exceed 50 with the like the notable ones being speed and like surprisingly speed and defense both having like 55, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he's just not that useful. Cause like he just falls off way too fast. Like if you somehow do get a good Diamant and keep him to the end, then like wow, you impressed me. But let's be real, those souls are gonna be so inconsistent. You might as well not even keep him as a successor.
Yeah, but you can't. But like I mentioned before, you can't do that because then his other stats tank.
Yeah, it's just weird. But let's move on from the D-list Diamant and move on to someone much better, Amber.
He was the one I was talking about, the one that's very limited, unfortunately, like Citrine.
Yeah, that is true. But the thing is, when you get him, he comes with a killer lance, so he has a chance to impress you very early on and get some kills to level up a bit. Possibly one or
Right.
two times on his debut map, which allows you to promote him. And hopefully you'll promote him into a Wolf Knight, because that should be his canonic class.
Or Halberdier. One of the two is
That
fine.
also works, because, yeah, Halberdier, I would say, is very consistent, meaning his speed literally does not matter, because you'll be doubling with a pincer attack. But if you want to
Right.
have fun with the mobility and actually poison enemies consistently, then you can make him into a Wolf Knight. Like how I did in my playthrough, and he kind of destroyed everything. Wyvern Rider is also good, but Air Raid is too niche of a skill to actually use. But man, oh man, is Amber has a chance to really soar above and beyond.
Like, I definitely do agree that Amber does belong in very solid, but I would put Al. I was about to say Alfred. Why do I keep making that mistake? Amber. I would put Amber in low of A because, so like at the very bottom of A, because Amber is very good at his job, but it's also the only job that he can do because while he has really good strength growth, like tied for the best in the game, his other growths are literally shit.
That is very true.
Like he does not have good growths in anything else. So if he's not a halberdier or a wolf knight, your Amber will suck.
Yeah,
It will
that's
just
very
suck.
true. You just have to treat Amber right in order
Yeah,
to make
like
him work.
treat Amber right, and he will treat you with the same amount of love back. Treat him shit, and well, alpaca noises.
So, but yeah, no. You just want to make him into a Wolf Knight or Bow Knight if you're feeling daring, but either way, you want to fix up that speed growth with either Bow Knight or Wolf Knight, or you can just go all out with his strength and just go Halberdier. Just give him the proper support afterwards. But
Right.
but other than that, he will be kind of consistent with how good his strength is. And then there's Jade, who will literally just be next to Louis.
There's no way you think Jade is better than Lapis.
I'm kidding. I'd say take it or leave it.
That's not any better.
Okay, you said you're gonna ignore Lapis, all right? Let's focus on Jade.
I did say that I would ignore Lapis, but honestly, I'm starting to regret my words because this is getting harder and harder to withstand.
What if I put a giant black box over Lapis? Would that make you feel better?
Honestly, I kind of would.
Oh man, okay.
I would just forget that Lapis exists for just this video so that I can just not be sad because I just view this as propaganda.
There.
Perfect. Perfect. Now I could just think of this as melee.
Kirby's
'Cause
pink,
that's where-
just like Lapis's hair. All right,
Okay.
moving on. Jade is weird. Immediately starts out worse than Louis in terms of stats, but
Oh yeah.
they tried to make a Resi Knight, and yeah, no, it's too niche to work because she's still gonna get doubled by a lot of things. It's just not what knights are meant to do. But like, if you reclass her into like something else, then yeah, she would benefit from it.
All right, so hear me out.
Right?
Well, you already know this.
You made
but-
her. You know, no. Just explain what you did.
Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. So you turn Jade into a sage,
And that's all
right?
the time we have. Okay, now.
No. like legitimately, because she actually does have a pretty decent magic growth on her own. Like, I mean, it's not anything spectacular. It's only 25, but considering what Jade is meant to be, 25 is honestly not that bad. So you make her a sage. So then she has 55% magic, but more specifically, so we about how they wanted to make her a little bit more resi, but it doesn't work because she's stuck in an armor class. Well, if you put her in sage, that I want to say what 30% res growth. Like let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, it's 30.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right. That 30% res growth with sage becomes 60. So you can literally have the quintessential enemy phase.
But congratulations, you now have the
mage
same
tank?
stats as Citrine.
I mean, you do, like, you compete with Citrine, but the thing is that Citrine is meant to be more of like the glass cannon, like mage that can't really take hits, because yes, she does have a good res growth, but her HP still suffers. So
Apparently, Jade's HP growth is also only 55.
yeah, that's definitely awkward. But I think because of her higher base HP, at least compared to Citrine,
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
she could
true.
make more of an impact as an enemy phase tank, and unlike Hortensia, actually do damage.
But then again, at the end of the day, that's still a niche build, and you still have to get around her just being niche as a as an armored unit.
That is true. Like, it is niche, but it's honestly still better than running her as an armored unit.
Yeah, which is another weird hurdle to do before you can actually buy seals freely.
Right.
Because pre-chapter
Or you
10
could
is an
just
awkward phase.
Or you can just be utter scum and just spam relay trials until you get enough second seals, because you can do that.
Oh my god.
But but I don't recommend that. Like, and either way, doing like factoring in relay trials doesn't really help with judging objectivity. So, but it's just something that you can do.
And then we have Ivy. Such a divisive topic.
Okay.
But where do I even put
this
you?
one's definitely going to be divisive.
But like, where do I even put you? Because yes, you're a flyer. Yes, you use magic. But then again, at the end of the day, your personal skill when you promote is one of the weirdest ones I've ever seen. Which
You're talking about grasping void, right?
Yes. It's
I mean,
such a weird skill.
It could sort of make her into albeit unreliable, but an unreliable mage killer, because it does scale off of the enemy's magic, I think.
Yes, it does.
So, like, I think, like, Ivy does have merit, and in my opinion, I do think Ivy's the best out of the royals. I know that you won't budge for a certain Sohm royal that's coming up, but... Or, hell, even Hortensia, but... No, I love using Ivy, because, yeah, she does have issues. Like, her speed is a little wonky, but that can be easily fixed, to be completely honest. The only things that really suck about her is her low ish dex, because again, that can be fixed. But then the thing that can't be fixed is her luck. Her luck is absolutely abysmal. She faces crit rates really hard.
Yep. Sure, single-minded is a pretty good personal skill. It's just that grasping void is so strangely unnecessary.
Hell, I honestly argue that single-minded isn't even that good because it requires that you have to
Not kill
enter
the enemy.
yeah, not kill the enemy, which I mean, once you get Doll or something, then yeah, I guess that skill becomes more useful,
I
but
think that's meant to imply her using Thoron, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but then in the player phase, if you're using Thoron, then after you use Thoron, someone else is probably going to kill it because Thoron's pretty strong, so it's
That's
going to do
true.
chip damage if it doesn't outright kill the enemy.
And also, Ivy has base 30 magic growth. Yes, her class does make it to like solid 55, I think. Let's see. Strangely high strength growth at 25. Her speed is 40. Her dex is 25. Yeah, she has one of the worst luck growths in the game.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly help that, like, in terms of growths, her personal class is also among the worst in the game because aside from helping her a little bit with magic, it doesn't really do much else.
It's not. It's an awkward one.
But, like, with Ivy, it kind of doesn't really matter with her growths because she still has a really good niche of being the only technically combat mage fire in the game because yes there is Celestia, but if you don't have the DLC expansion you
Then
just don't
yeah.
have her, and Hortensia is not meant for combat,
Yeah, not in the
like strictly
slightest.
speaking. So like because of that, Ivy has a niche that is exclusive to her own.
Yeah, she's just awkward, but like I'm not gonna say she's bad. She's just bad in my experience.
Right. Plus,
But I do
feel
see
like
them.
she
I do
has
see her
flaws.
use.
Like she has flaws, but she's honestly quite easy to fix. I'm not gonna say that she should be very solid, that she should be put in very solid, but maybe a little bit higher within usable.
I would say Ivy. I would only say use Ivy if you had a if your mage is really fucked up. Then yeah, I
Yeah,
would say use Ivy. But then again, you have access to 3 mages who have the potential to be a lot better. Although Saline and Klon aren't that consistent. But if you like, let's say you have a really good Citrine, then you wouldn't really see much merit in using Ivy.
yeah, fair point.
And then you have Kagetsu, who I really wish I used. Who would be like the top of very solid. My only issue
We're
with that
really
my issue with that
okay.
is
Go ahead.
there are, you have like 3 other sword units before you get Kagetsu.
Yes.
So let's say if Kirby somehow ended up really good, then
Which is very possible.
very unlikely, but possible, I guess. Then yeah, you wouldn't really see Kagetsu's value at first. But oh boy, once you actually build him. And then you also have Diamant, who also has the potential to be as good as Kagetsu during those chapters you get Kagetsu. And then you have Saline, who has 11 sword access and actually use it well. So being able to break axe units from a distance is incredibly valuable. And then you also have Alir, who, if you actually get a good Alir, again, too many sword units to oversaturate that pool with.
Right.
But that doesn't change the fact that Kagetsu is a fantastic unit, and I guess you should probably use him. Like, it's still possible that you might not just use Kagetsu because you didn't really feel like a need if your party was good enough already. And then you have oh my god, I fucking forgot about Yunaka.
My god, man, you can't be doing that shit.
I would say take it or leave it with Yunaka. She's just
I
awkward.
can't argue that.
She's just like they gave her such a fantastic personal skill, and they do nothing with it because assassins are not in this game.
Like, at least not in maddening, because like the problem is that they clearly want you to do dodge tanking.
But then again,
Yunaka.
they're counterproductive and make the AI just not attack any unit they do either no damage to or just cannot hit.
Exactly. So like say like in hard mode, that Yunaka Korin build, it's like very cookie cutter, but in hard mode it's absolutely busted.
You said hard twice.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, rip. But yeah, no. Yunaka goes mad hard with Korin in hard mode. That's what I meant. Yeah, okay. So, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But in maddening, it just does not work as well. I mean, it kind of work in late game because then their skill rates become the enemies hit rate become higher, so they have a quote unquote chance to hit Yunaka. But
it's
if you're not
very hard to
investing
level
too
her
much,
up.
Yeah. Besides, like, the problem with Yunaka is that her strength growth is not bad, but it's inconsistent. So there's going to be a point where without investment, she straight up won't do any damage.
Which is why Zelkov will be an entire tier above her, because he comes out with really good bases, as well as higher strength and more builds, so...
Yeah.
And also,
like,
sure, he doesn't have something as amazing as a Killer Instinct. He does have like an alert stance like skill where he can just dodge things better.
Yeah, so like his personal skill is still good, and also
like the thieves have really good personal skills. It's just how you use them.
And besides, like, I guess you could say that Zelkov is not nearly as fast as Yunaka, but one, Zelkov actually does damage, and two, he's still pretty fast. He's just
the thing is,
not
both
as
Yunaka
fast.
and Zelkov have the same strength growth. It's just that Zelkov just comes in with a much higher strength stats, and yeah, it's just unfortunate that Yunaka's a fan favorite. She's just really hard to use. As much as I wanted to use her in my runs.
Like, that's what makes it so complicated for me, because Yunaka usually always pops off in my runs. Like, there was not a single run that I have done so far in which I didn't use Yunaka.
Yeah. Yep.
Because admittedly, she is pretty easy to train, because in early game, Yunaka is pretty strong. So it's very easy to level her up.
Yep. Then that's what Zelkov is for. More poison, more strength, and also just being very unique of a unit. Well,
you did the speech thing.
Exactly.
Nice going.
I tried. And then we move on to Solm. And let's...
It's a little sad to see Yunaka and take it or leave it, but...
It's like, can you really say anything about it?
I can't. Like, besides, she's above Klon, that's all that matters.
I think Fogado is usable. Because, yes, Mounted Bow Knight is very good. He has fantastic speed growth. He has yeah. Actually, no. He only has speed. It's just that his mobility is very good.
It's just a shame that his debut chapter really doesn't do much with it because, desert maps.
Yep, the only map in the entire game that uses quicksand. And, yeah. It's the only map in the entire game that has quicksand in it.
Also, quick rant. Well, not quick rant, but just a quick thing before we move on. Can we just collectively agree that besides the Palace chapter, that the Psalm chapters really suck?
Yeah.
Like, wow, the Psalm chapters suck.
The soul maps are all about confined spaces and limiting your movement.
which is really weird that it's confined spaces considering we're in the fucking desert.
Yep, but hey, at least they don't make you go around poking until you trip over some dude's head who is for some reason buried in the sand.
Yeah, you know, or you know, poking through snow in Revelations like painstakingly. So like I've seen worse.
That's it. Can you shovel out these giant blocks of sand? No. Fogala's a weird unit, but he for some reason can shine really well. Like for a while as a Cupido, he can use the Radiant Bow fantastically. And as one of the few archers who can actually use it, I would take that chance. It's just too bad Cupido is such a weird skill. And Back at You is basically is like physical Grasping Void. And it is not that good of a skill because it requires Fogado to be hit. And Fogado is not that tanky.
Again, I would say that like it's the same problem with Golden Lotus, where it's honestly a good skill on paper, but they just put it on the wrong units.
Yep. Like, Fogado will be very fast. His strength might be lacking. And, like, hell, if they wanted to give him Luna, then, like, yeah, I would take that. But that's Alchrist's thing already. So, which is why I would honestly just suggest slap on the Tiki ring on him for a bit. And then change him into a warrior. Because he does so much better like that. Because he becomes one of the fastest warriors you got. And watch him swing that Brave Axe wildly. Or, you know, longbow backup units. And actually use the backup well. Because believe it or not, Fogado has a 30% dex growth. Which is honestly something I didn't believe myself. But here we are with a rather weird unit. But he does do really well if you give him the chance.
Like even like putting Fogado like aside, like and saying that he's pretty weird, he's still one of the better royals in the game. So that's just funny.
And now let's move on to two units who have very good, very quick judgments. Like both of us will literally just be quiet for where I put these two units.
Well,
Surprising.
No, not Bonet. No, absolutely not. Like that is absolutely correct.
You think Pandreo should be a bit lower?
No, I think Pandreo should be a bit higher. Pandreo is just straight up one of the best units in the game. Like he has good bases, like amazingly good bases for his class, but he also has good growths too. Like he has great speed, he has great dexterity. I'm pretty sure he also has great dexterity. Let me see. Yeah, 45 dexterity. His defense is whatever, but he has great res, he has great luck, he has great magic. More importantly, he has great build. Like
that is
Pandreo,
true. He is one of the few mages that can actually remain consistently fast. And also having a very simple but effective signature skill of a party animal.
Like, honestly, if there is any unit in this game that deserves to be in Masterpieces, it's honestly Pandreo.
That deserves what?
Masterpieces. Or must-haves.
Oh.
Must-haves, that's what I meant.
For some reason, I was splitting up the words master and piece for some reason and not, like, putting them together. I was like, what's a masterpiece? And it's like, it took me a second to, like, oh, wait, that's one word. It's like, oh. I guess I can see what you're saying. My Pandreo just did not end up as amazing for some reason. Like, he was good, but he wasn't fantastic. Like, he wasn't broken.
I mean, to be fair, like, I did see in your playthrough that you didn't use Pandreo too much, at least considering, like, overall, like, with the playthrough. Plus, I do remember that you kept him as a high priest a little too long before you turned him into a sage.
But I just really liked the ability of being able to heal him after combat. Like, he can heal himself, which is admittedly one of the perks of a high priest, being able to heal himself with the staff.
It's the only perk of a high priest.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the thing is, I was also against making him do a sage because I had so many other magic users, I think. So it just kind of felt redundant.
I mean, I suppose that's true, but at the same time, if you did turn him into a sage, he would have been your best one because he has good magic, and sage only exemplifies that. He has good speed, and again, he's pretty much the only mage in the game, like natural mage in the game, that has a good build stat as well. Like, again, really good, 15%. What the hell?
Yeah, Fogado is like the only unit you get halfway through the game who is just busted out the gate. I just did not take advantage of that. But that still doesn't change the fact that he's a fantastic unit, that you probably should use him, but unless you don't feel the need to fill the magic hole in your army.
Yeah, like, I guess from, like, the perspective of one that hasn't used Pandreo to its fullest potential, then yeah, I would, like, agree with a very solid placement, but for those that do, he's 100% a must-have.
That is true.
Easily one of the best units in the game.
Very true. But I'm pretty sure it's just, yeah, objectively, he's a fantastic unit. And now onto the other half of Solm.
And and one last thing, it's pretty funny that I was telling you this right before we started this video. It's so funny how in the exact same chapter they give you Pandreo, who is so damn good, and then they give you Bunet. It's like, did the same developers even work on this chapter? What were they thinking with Bunet? Why is he so bad? Especially in comparison to Pandreo. Like, what the hell?
Look, they decided to charge 2 members of the development team with holding 2 pieces of toast and put some butter on it. Then they both were dared to throw their piece of bread up into the air and just, depending on how it lands, make the unit they wanted to make into the result. And that is literally what happened between Pandreo and Bunet, who is literally sunny side down. Ironically, his only job is to stay in the kitchen of the Somniel.
Like I get it lore-wise, because it is explained through Bunet's supports, if anyone actually uses Bunet to see his supports, that lore-wise, he's not a good fighter. Like, he's supposed to just be in the kitchen. But then, my God, just make him the like the chef unit. Like, we have the blacksmith and like, you know those cutscenes that you get in Firene, like very early on, where you get the blacksmith, the item shop, the armory, like all that stuff. You have characters specifically for that. Just make Bunet the chef. Like, it's okay. Fogado can only have 1 retainer. Pandreo is more than enough.
Yeah, no, Bunet is... he is so bad in the map you get him on, and also everything else. You just can't use him.
Like, it's just it's impossible to use Bunet unless you really, really like Bunet.
It's funny how Engage is like the one Fire Emblem game that makes your traditional tanks so bad.
Yeah, like, unless your name is Louis.
Okay, yeah, Louis is good for while you have him, but unless you somehow get Louis to get level ups that aren't just HP, strength, and defense.
Like, Louis is the true Jagan of this game. Who the hell is Vander?
Dead.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Anyways, moving on to Tamara. Yeah.
I can't really say anything.
One
about
word.
Because...
Sandstorm. Oh, Tamara. Literally, the definition of shotgun in a bottle. Sure, her debut map's super bad, but the thing is, they pair her up with the Ike Ring, which is so fitting for just giving her wrath as soon as you can. And she does wonders for you. And
granted, the Ike Ring is not her best ring, but for the chapter that she debuts on, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. uh, just build up Tamara enough, and she's ironically one of the highest defense units in literally no armor, and she makes use of that defense to obliterate enemies that normally she would not have. She's just such a good and strange unit. But like, sure, she might start awkward because of her low build, because yeah, she is a bit on the slow side when you get her, but just give her time to build up that sandstorm, and she will just make handling swarms of enemies so much easier if you just leave her there. And
You know, I just had a thought.
yeah,
What if they actually swapped the skills, and then, for example, like have Fogado with Sandstorm, and then Tamara with the skill that Fogado has. I forgot what it's called.
back at you.
But yeah, back at you, because honestly, it makes a whole lot more sense on Tamara because she is bulky enough and she can actually utilize the skill well. Like, I still say that even without Sandstorm, I'd still say Tamara is a must-have unit. And then you have Sandstorm on Fogado, and then he's also a must-have unit, making the Solm Royals easily the best bunch. I mean,
Fogado has a 30% defense growth.
Yeah, but it's still okay compared to, like, say,
Never
like,
mind.
I don't know,
So does
Behemoth.
Tamara, but I'm pretty sure the Picket class boosts defense up by like a fantastic margin.
Let's see. Pickets. Actually, only by 10.
Wow, that's surprising.
As a matter of fact, Cupido actually raises the dex up by a superior amount. So honestly, yeah, no, I feel like they should have given Sandstorm to Fogado.
No, I mean defense.
And then back at you. Oh, you said defense. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, 5%. But they could have done Sandstorm. They could have made it like a different proc. Like, I don't know.
If it procced off Fogado's speed, then he would have been an amazing unit.
Yeah. Like, and with
But yeah, no.
Sarah would have still been good because her bulk, at least physically, is pretty good.
If you,
I think she has a decent res
the,
growth too.
Oh yeah, no, she does have good res growth. And what's funny is that Tamara actually has a decent magic growth, so she's one of the few good wielders of a flame lance. If you
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, at 25.
Huh, wow.
Which is why I gave her the flame lance for a while in case I didn't feel confident in the sandstorm proc. So I gave her that instead.
It helps with the armor. It helps with the armors.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Tamara, oh boy, she is a nuke. And then once you get Brianak in like the final few chapters, she will obliterate everything. And then we have Marin and Panette.
The best duo of retainers in the game.
I suppose. Marin, I would say, is like pretty run-of-the-mill. Because, yes, her speed's fantastic, her dex is fantastic. So-so-ish strength and decent bulk. She also just has the problem of saturated sword pool. And then, also from my experience, this was at the time I made my Alir into a Wolf Knight, who was so much better than Marin.
Yeah.
But Marin is not a bad unit by any means.
Yeah, like she's the definition of solid. Like, she won't be like crazy or anything, but she'll almost never be bad.
Panette, I would say, is very solid, but more of the inconsistent range. Like, Panette is super easy to build up. Like, there's no getting around that. You just give her Wrath, and then she'll annihilate things. But that's if you feel motivated to use her after going through that awful Fog of War map with her.
Which, honestly, in retrospect, isn't even that painful for her.
I mean, there are a bunch of sword flyers in the ocean that can easily poke her and kill her in one round.
I mean, I suppose so, but you can just not have Panette near that area.
Yeah, but if yeah, but accidents happen. Considering that map is full of destructible buildings that they can fly over.
Yeah, like the thing with that chapter is that like it definitely will like blindside the newer players that haven't played that chapter before, and then yeah, Panette will struggle a little bit. But if you have previous knowledge of said chapter, you could just have Panette avoid the bullshit, and then she'll be totally fine. Because the bottom half of the map is more Panette speed.
That's that's the other issue. Yeah, she will probably just get doubled by everything.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is that with the Panette build, her speed doesn't really matter because she can just one-shot most enemies in the game anyway.
I mean, yeah,
So,
that's true,
like,
but
Panette's the one case where speed really doesn't matter.
yeah, you just have to really hope to land. And also, try to focus on you know, you give her Wrath, you give her Vantage or Hell, you give her holdouts, and then she'll get going.
No, this is basically what you do, right? So, you turn her into a warrior, right? You give her Wrath and you give her Holdout as the two inheritable skills, all right? Then you give her the Leaf Ring, which not necessarily so much for Vantage, but more so for adaptability, so that when she is fighting against melee units, she will use her engraved killer axe, which you really should have when making a Panette build. But then when she's fighting a mage, it switches her over to the killer bow, so then she has option to fight against those.
Just hope that she doesn't explode from Oh wait, there's also the issue if for some for some goddamn reason she auto equips the light brand for some reason. But I guess that's just speaking from my experience from the Fell Xenologue.
Oh, no, there is actually a solution to that too. So what people do with Panette is that they purposely keep her at bond level 4 with Leaf, so that you don't actually get that problem with the light brand, because you still have Vantage, and you still have holdout and all that stuff, and holdout plus is going to be enough for you to get into Vantage range, and Wrath, well, it's Wrath. So, and you still have adaptability, which all you really need is just the ability to switch the weapons. So
that's true. That's true.
Like, it's a very easy build, but it's one of the most effective in the game.
And also, she actually can use Quad Strike well.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have... Okay, we got those two. Right, Hortensia is a must-have.
Okay.
Because starting off the bat, big personality, getting an extra range on healing staffs is very useful right off the bat. You give her quality time, meaning she will just be able to heal everybody and build up support super fast and just be everyone's best friend and give them their support bonuses when they really need it. That's all I can really say. World Tree is a bit inconsistent, but when it procs, it really helps saving any of your valuable stabs. Am I missing anything?
Okay. Here's my biggest problem with Hortensia and why I don't agree that she's a must-have. Because, alright, so first, big personality. Yes, it does help out with her range when it comes to the healing staves, but that's just it. Healing staves. It only works with heal, mend, physic, restore, and treat. I think it was like the quote-unquote joke weapon.
It also works with Fortify, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it does work on but I mean, Fortify already has a giant range as is, so
surprisingly small in compared to other games.
I mean, small compared to other games, but still large enough to be able to reach a wide variety. Fair. And even then, And even then, you have the Micaiah ring, which you're most likely going to be putting on like Hortensia if you're using her in the first place. But then there's the issue with World Tree. Now, World Tree, as inconsistent as it is, still does provide a really useful niche to Hortensia that no other unit has.
Yeah.
And then they introduced the well.
Okay, you know what? That's true.
They introduced the well so that if you use the well correctly, running out of the good staves is literally not an issue because you can end up with 3 or 4 warp staffs and rescues and all that stuff. So because of that, Hortensia's niche with World Tree goes completely out the window.
You know what? That's very true.
So because of that, what are you left with? You're left with Hortensia and her combat potential.
Which is not
and
the
it's
greatest.
not good.
Yeah.
It's not good, like, at all. She has good speed. It does not matter when it will just do tink all the time, most of the time.
I still believe that Hortensia still has incredibly good value from also being, you know, a flyer that can heal people.
I mean, yeah, but then you have Ivy that can do that.
But Ivy,
you can have Ivy that can do that as well.
Also doesn't have good combat potential.
Well, yeah, but her combat potential is still better than Hortensia's.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
Ivy does have a magic stat. Like at the very least, Ivy does have a magic stat. But what makes it worse for Hortensia especially is that Ivy at the very least has access to S rank tomes, so she can use Nova. Like if one is really picky about Ivy's speed, you have Nova, which you can get eventually. That fixes a lot of Ivy's speed issues. Whereas Hortensia can't even use Bolganon because she's locked to B rank tomes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not like she would be able to use Bolganon very well anyway because Hortensia has really bad build, so it will weigh her down heavily.
I'm more stuck on the fact that just slapping quality time onto her and just make her a passive healing bot with as well as access to just having longer range staves and also surprisingly decent res as well, so she can actually tank mages incredibly well actually.
Surprisingly decent is the understatement of the century. She has one of the best res growths in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
I think she actually does have the best res growth in the game. Let me check.
She does. At 55%.
Yeah, no, she straight up does have the best
but still,
in the game.
I think my point is, there has never been a support unit more defined as Hortensia, and that's what she does. She is purely a support build.
You see, but the thing with that is that, like, she is, like, what you just said, that is true that she is defined as one of the best supports in the game, but then that's before the well. Because after the well, a lot of what makes Hortensia unique really goes out the window to the point where I honestly think Fram is a better unit than Hortensia.
Those are some bold words, because you'd be implying that you can somehow consistently get those rare staffs from the well.
Well, no, you honestly consider if you use the well well enough and get 3 to 4
How many times
stars,
did you say well?
I don't know. That was really stupid. But
well, you can say that.
Get consistent 3 to 4 stars, there is a good chance that you can end up with a lot of the staves that you get that you would want to get, like warp and rescue and what's another good one, like freeze, rewarp, stuff like that. Like,
well, still, you'd rather want to have Hortensia healing instead of having one of your combat mages spend a turn to heal, wouldn't you?
I suppose so, but I don't know, like, because, and what I mean by the bold words, yeah, no, I genuinely think Fram is a better user, at least in terms of support and utility, than Hortensia, because 1, Fram is a Chi Adept user, so she gets Chain Guard. 2, she has a combination of the best supports in the game. And 3, if you give Fram the Bonded Shield, with Lucina, and then I think there's another ability that scales off of support levels with a void, and you just bring a box around Fram on all the units that she can support with. Literally, none of them will be touchable. Like, they will be untouchable.
That also implies that you'd keep Fram as a martial master.
Which, in all honesty, is kind of recommended.
So you're saying I should move Fram up?
Honestly, yeah. I think Fram honestly it should go in very solid.
How
like,
far?
I know it's crazy.
How far to very solid?
Right under Alir.
Damn.
Yeah, like I know, like it's crazy because I still hate Fram as a character so much. I find her so annoying. Which is why it's
agreeable.
so unfortunate. Which
the
is
fact
why
that you say here you think she's better than Panette.
I mean, I do think that Panette is in must-have because of her build, but you put Panette there, so I mean...
Again, it's a gamble if you want to use her.
Yeah, that's true, but in terms of that, because Fram's support is unrivaled in my opinion. Fram, in my opinion, is the best support unit in the game. Because there's just so much that Fram can accomplish. And I hate saying that because I hate Fram so much, but she's such a good unit.
I suppose that's fair. I suppose it would just be a tie. And now onto an actual must-have. He's a dancer. What else are you gonna do? Like, there's literally no competition.
Hell, like combined with his personal skill, Curious Dance, or Curious Dance, and then you give him quality time with,
and also Cancer.
Yeah, so he becomes one of the. So let me immediately fix what I said. Seedall is the best support unit in the game. Fram is second.
That's totally true. That is totally true.
Also, just props to Engage for finally giving us a male dancer. Like,
who's
seriously.
not like who doesn't die in one hit.
Exactly. Like, and the three houses dancers don't count
because like there is no dancer. Like that. Yeah. It's just weird.
Hell, if you lose that whole like ordeal, you will just not have a dancer. So
yeah, I keep forgetting that you can actually lose it.
Right. Granted, if you're like smart and just give it to Marianne or Mercedes, then you won't ever have to worry about losing that whole thing.
All right, and then we have Hortensia's retainers, which I will just beat around the bush. Goldmary is, as you've told me, is one of the easiest characters to have Brave Assist on. So there's some merit in that. Easiest.
And one thing that I also found out that about Goldmary when I was searching her up. So did you know that Goldmary actually has the highest defense growth in the game?
That's surprising.
Yeah, 55%. She has the highest defense growth in the game, like personal.
Huh.
Like she's tied with Madeline. I want you to think about that.
That is incredibly shocking, to say the least.
Yeah, no, like Goldmary is honestly shockingly good. Like her bases are kind of in a weird spot, just like Rosato's, but Goldmary's is easier to fix.
And also, kind of, it's still iffy that Goldmary has a 30% strength growth, a 25% dex and speed growth. She should, like, if she wasn't a hero, she would be a general.
Yeah, most likely.
Oh my god, you're right. She has 55 defense. Also, but an unfortunate 5 build.
Yeah, but if you use her in the regards to support, like in terms of like Brave assisting and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's that makes up for it.
That makes up for it. And if we're talking about like build, I think even though that Goldmary's build growth is not the best, I think she starts with like a base build of 9, which isn't terrible. It's like
it's just a shame that all of her other stats are bad.
Yeah. So like she does require like a little bit of fixing, but I do think Goldberry is easier to fix.
Meanwhile,
Compared
Rosado
to
is very
Rosado.
unfortunately awful bases when you get him.
Man, like Rosado's so weird because he has a combination of the best growths in the game. Like, and I know that there's good in Rosado, but man, those bases.
Yep.
16 base strength. You honestly would not even guess that he has the highest strength growth in the game.
Tied with Amber.
Like, tied with Amber and also, I think also Panette. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, my God.
With a solid 45 speed and 40 dex. Like, Rosado's a killing machine who literally has an awful strength base.
Yeah, like, he's begging.
Because literally at this point in the game, you'd have units with like low 20 strength at this point in time. But then you have Rosado, who is stuck with the Erica ring and is very he's not harmful. He cannot harm anything.
Like, and they also do this really weird thing where, like, as an enemy unit, his weapon rankings are swords and axes. For whatever reason,
I'm pretty sure it's lance and axes.
No. As an enemy, it's swords and axes.
Oh.
When you get him as a unit, he's lance and axes.
Really?
But as an enemy, he's swords and axes. And for the life of me, I don't know why they made that change.
Huh. That is so confusing.
Like, and he would honestly be better with swords and axes, considering that his starting build is not good. Like, yeah, sure, it's only one lower than Goldberry, so you can argue that.
But he gets weighed down by spears too much.
Yeah, exactly. So for Rosado, it hurts him even more. Goldberry, yeah, her build is like whatever, but it doesn't really affect her nearly as much.
Yeah, no, Rosado is just unfortunately bad.
Like, and it sucks too because I really like Rosado, but yeah, no, I can't put him any higher. Like, I just can't. I need to see how Rosado works in the Maddening playthrough. I'm gonna try to make him work in
Tink.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to make him work. I'll see what happens.
And then we have Lyndon, who is very good personal skill, but like you get him really late in the game. And honestly, you're just better off reclassing him.
It's what?
Something that can use a killing weapon. Because he has equal...
Berserker Lyndon, let's go.
What? Oh, I mean, maybe. Because he has 25 in strength, magic, and dex. He solely relies on crits through artificial means. So, yeah, given how killer weapons are only C rank, his personal skill appreciates that very much, and he easily will probably get like easy 50 crits.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if this is considered a hot take. I genuinely think Lyndon should go in usable and above Saline.
You know what? I can see that too. I can totally see that. Because his bases aren't bad, if I remember.
Yeah, his bases are not that bad. Like, his growths are kind of whatever, but at that point in the game, you're kind of just like, you're mostly just relying on bases, and Lyndon is most likely just going to be like, mostly served as that replacement unit if one of your mages so happens to die in an Iron Man run, but lucky for Lyndon, he still has his own niches that makes him unique.
Yeah. Yeah, Lyndon is literally just your replacement unit.
He does a decent job, a solid job at being the
because
replacement
everybody
unit.
else died.
Exactly.
After Linden, we have
Oh boy, here we go.
yep, you are take it or leave it. You're a warrior. That's a good class.
Damn, you put Saphir higher than I expected.
You come with a brave. No, you have. I'm pretty sure you have a brave weapon, brave axe, I think.
Brave Axe. Brave Axe, yeah.
So, she can at least do something. It's just that her growths are not like. They're not spectacular. Your bases are also a bit niche.
Take a look at Saphir's res growth.
Yeah, I know, 5.
5%, my god.
And then, like, at this point, if you used Boucheron all this way, then you literally have no reason to use Saphir.
Yeah, Boucheron is just the Bouche.
Exactly, I have converted you to this religion.
Can't believe you've done this, but I can't lie. Boucheron just has so much merit. He's easily one of the best Pyrenees units, if not the best. Oh, okay, well, there's Louis. That's me, personally. Wait, we were saying about Saphir?
Yeah, no, she's just awkward. And also, Chapter 19 is just frustrating to deal with if you need to make an advance and then people are camping the miasma. It's not the easiest really map to get her any kills.
No, it's really unfortunate because in Maddening, have you gotten to Chapter 19 in Maddening yet?
I have not.
Because, okay, I will just say this right now. The enemies that Mauvier can that summons at the rescues at the start of wait, are you sure it's rescue? I'm pretty sure it's warp.
He has both. No, he has both.
Yeah, he does have both, but he starts with warp first to
oh yeah, they one-shot her, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yep, you just need to bring your own staff.
Yeah, like cuz yeah, no, they one round Saphir. Even the Lance units.
Yep. And then we move on to said Mauvier himself. Man, what do we even say about him?
Man, Mauvier's a unit. He's good.
Okay, you know what? No, I'll be blunt.
Okay, well, all right. So, okay, that's harsh. That's a little too harsh because he's definitely not on the same level as Vinay and Kirby. He's definitely not on the same level as those guys because what's really weird about Mauvier is that his bases are pretty good.
Except they made him a Royal Knight.
They made him a Royal Knight, but you know what's even weirder? What? His growths are actually really good. His growths are really good. In fact, if you add up the growths overall to get an overall net value,
I'm pretty sure he has like the highest in the game.
Yeah, he has the highest if you're not factoring in John's expertise.
I guess that's true. It's just the fact that I thought keeping him as a Royal Knight, like, oh, is he the only unit that can use this class? No, it's just a bad class.
Yeah, it's just a bad class, but you know what? There's something very simple that you can do. Make him a Griffin Knight. There you go.
Yeah, for some reason that's just better.
And by this point in the game, you will have a bunch of second seals, and I think you can start infinitely buying them. So it's not even really much of a resource cost.
Yeah. It's a necessity for him.
Yeah, like you turn him into a Griffin Knight, and then just give him Sigurd because who the hell else is going to use Sigurd at this point? And there you go. You have. So I think for that alone, he should go unusable.
Where do you think usable?
I wouldn't mind putting him at the very bottom of usable, but if we had to put him like somewhere else, at least above Saline.
I think about here.
Yeah, that's about right.
And then we have Vale, who I changed my tune on.
Oh, really?
because
Thorin.
she really, yeah, she easily
Thorin.
can create an instant 100% crit build with like,
Yeah, like,
very little effort. She will
like,
blow everything up.
Like, it's so funny how the moment that I saw you put her up there, my first instinct, Soren.
Yeah, no, I didn't really get to use her much in the Fell Xenologue, but I saw how much her crit rate soared with the Wrath Vantage build. She will annihilate things.
Like, it doesn't exactly help that the dragon units just get accelerated crit with Soren from Flare, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Flare.
Yeah, it is honestly batshit crazy the damage Veil can do. It's just too bad she cannot take a hit for God's sake. Meaning,
and she also has a 0% build growth.
Yeah, meaning you have to really count on those crits. Like, somehow get her to low HP, and then she'll get the ball rolling. Okay,
you know what? Because you're putting Veil in must-have, because you really do have to, like as you said, like with the gamble of crits, but it's easy to get those crits up. But now, since you did put Veil in must-have, I do think Panette should also go up there too.
The thing is, Veil has an exclusive weapon of obscurity.
Yeah.
Which innate is a magical nuke. And once you engrave it, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, I suppose so, but a killer axe engraved with Lyn, like a forged killer axe engraved with Lyn, might as well be Panette's personal weapon, because it's the only one that you'll really need.
I mean, that is true, but when you really think about it, magic nukes tend to do slightly better when they actually work.
I mean, that is true, but at the same time, you do get Veil considerably later, so you won't have as much time with Veil to cook. Like, she'll be cooking for sure, but you get her at the end of chapter 21, and by that point, assuming you did all the paralogs up until this point, you have what? You have Marf's paralog, you have the Pact Ring paralog, and then you have 22.
I mean, it's really not that hard to cap her level.
Yeah, it's true. Like, oh yeah, that's true, because you also only get 5 levels. I mean, yeah, you can second seal, obviously, but assuming you don't do that, you only have 5 levels to really level Veil up, and then that's it.
I mean, it's very easy to do once you get that crit obscurity build to just nuke everything. Because again, Flare is nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we have the main story casts, let's see here. I think it was...
There seems to be a little bit of an issue.
What?
With the tier list.
Oh, fuck. Whoops. Yeah, you gotta love... Okay, so everything went wrong. Oh my god, no. Oh, great. There we go. I mean,
you're gonna have to inevitably scroll down, but then you could just scroll back up.
No, I didn't scroll. That's the issue.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I don't get it. Like, I didn't even do much. Eh. Okay, as I was saying, Fell Xenologue people. Obviously, I did not really use them in, my main story, but judging from their growths, so firstly,
I can help out a little bit with them, because even though that I haven't fully tested their capabilities, I have played them enough to help out with their ratings.
Yeah.
If need be.
Yeah, so let's just get this right off the bat. These two are busted. They just are.
Yeah, they're insanely busted. especially Rafal. And in fact,
yeah,
honestly, I think Rafal should be higher than Nell.
Yeah, you're right.
Like it's so stupid because like Rafal is the biggest thrower in video game history because like this is gonna be like spoilers, obviously, for those that haven't played the DLC. So
Yeah.
just a warning for that. But so it so I you know I'll just say this: if you haven't played the DLC yet, skip this part
I
of
mean,
it.
too late.
Yeah, too late.
But it's
But
still blatantly obvious that, like, yeah, this is
yeah,
I'll
like
just throw something in. But yeah,
like
no.
yeah, no, Rafal just throws so damn hard in the Fell Xenologue, and then when you actually get him in the main campaign, he's one of the best units in the
It's
game.
literally the opposite scenario of the boss when you fight them and the boss when you play as them.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous, like how good Rafal is.
Like, oh my god. The man has, becomes new highest like defense growth, has insanely high strength growth. He is just a defensive offensive monster. And Nell is a faster Tamara without Sandstorm, but that still
Yeah.
doesn't change the fact that she has dragon bonus from emblems and is insanely fast.
Yeah,
But
so I would honestly say that she's on par with Tamara in a lot of areas.
I guess
Um,
I guess I'm just gonna put all the DLC emblems, DLC people at the back. So just to
like,
make that clear.
like, and whether or not you view Tamara, like which one is better, Tamara or Nell, it really just depends on what you need more.
Yeah, if you want an
Like in a unit.
all-rounder, just good unit with good stats, then yeah, you'd have Nell. But if you want to do funny one-shot kills, then Tamara.
Like with insane amounts of burst damage, then yeah, Nell is not Nell. Tamara is definitely the way to go. So yeah, it
Yeah.
really just depends on what you need. Both of them are still fantastic units.
And also, don't forget that Tamara is still a backup unit.
Indeed.
Then we have the 3.5 wins, three-quarters wins.
Or I could use the warp staff.
Yeah. It's a,
Use that, Mavier. Use that literally. Rest easy, King.
yeah, I know. That's why he's getting away from me. Actually, no. I won't mind if you died.
Mm.
So, okay, Gregory. Oh, Gregory.
Okay, the thing about Gregory is that I feel like Gregory should be higher than at least Citrine, because if we're looking at stats, he is literally just a better Citrine.
That is very true. But you'd have to endure the Fell Xenologue to get him.
That is true. Like it's an enormous slog.
I just think he's just. I think he's just take it or leave it.
No, because here's the thing. Once you do the Fell Xenologue for the very first time in Maddening,
Oh, hell.
for masochist purposes, but then after that, if for subsequent playthroughs, you can literally just play the Fell Xenologue in normal and just like breeze through the whole thing, and then you get these units. So
Yeah.
because of that, like I feel like the slog for Fell Xenologue isn't that much of a hindrance, only if you just really want to put it harder on yourself. And then once there, Gregory is just a better Citrine. So
Yeah, that kind of sums it up.
yeah, Gregory is slow, but so is Citrine. Gregory has
Fucking
not the best
Jesus
deck growth.
Christ. Okay.
What happened?
No, I keep looking back and then OBS keeps fucking up the window.
Oof.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like Gregory does have iffy dexterity, but again, so does Citrine. So and then the stats that they are good at, being magic and res, Gregory's are better. So
yeah, I guess I would put them in usable. Celestia, I would say, is very solid, given the swords and tomes, having Hexblade, being a flyer. Celestia is also very fast and also has a very even stat spread all around. That's honestly what I would say.
Yeah, I would say that Celestia is like if you wanted a more consistent Ivy.
Yeah. And then for Madeline, I mean, she does what a general should do, but there's one issue. She has the lowest dex growth in the game.
Yeah, no. 15% dex. Like, wow.
Which is why she is just going in, I don't mind if you die, because you ain't hitting jack shit.
Yeah, like because she has good growth in the spots that she needs it, especially like strength and defense, but and speed, well, I mean, yeah, she does have low speed, but that's to be expected. So that's not the thing that hurts her. No, it's her dex.
Yep. And it's so shitful. It doesn't even, like, it doesn't even matter. It's beyond salvageable. But, like, she
Yeah,
can
no.
still do what a general should do. It's just, God, she can't hit anything with that
It would be
dex.
more. It would be a little bit okay if, at the very least, she started out with swords.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the low dex does hurt, but swords are typically more accurate in the first place, so it kind of offsets that. But no, she starts with axes, and you really don't want to have a bad dexterity when fighting with axes.
Not in the slightest.
Like that's what you like. That's just what you have Boucheron for. Like,
Yep. The man who can do it all. Sorta.
sort of. There are still hurdles that you have to overcome, but they're very easy to overcome.
Yep. Now I'm just gonna take a screenshot of that. Okay. So now with that as my judgment for like the units, let's just take everyone out so I can actually rate the emblems. So
I still can't believe that Klon is where he is. My God, he should be lower.
oh, I can just oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you could just reset.
Good thing I discovered this before I like painstakingly drag these out one by one. Okay, so obviously, Alir's a broken emblem. There's no
Yeah,
literally getting around that. You just nuke
like
things.
sure you get them at a little late in the game, but it literally
But
doesn't
like
matter.
it's
They're
literally
still a
based off
nuke.
your supports with the other characters, so it's just super easy to get together. Violet is also a must-have. Gallus Dance is fantastic.
Okay, this is honestly gonna be rather sacrilege. I just think that Byleth is just very solid personally because yes, Goddess Dance is absolutely busted, and Byleth on mythical units are also pretty good. But aside from that, Byleth doesn't really do anything else.
Yeah, that's fair, but again, being able to dance your dancer.
Yeah, that is true.
And also, if you actually used Byleth offensively, then Sword of the Creator is a really good weapon.
It is. Man, Byleth is just lucky to have it all. Like that's why I love Byleth so much.
Even though he's from a game you hate.
Yeah, but Byleth is the saving grace.
Yep.
And the story of Azure Moon, because the story of Azure Moon is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, my God, who the fuck is that from? Imagine him speaking. Couldn't be me. Damn.
For this last one. Okay. So I don't really know what order I want to go in, but you know what? If I'll be real, yeah, Celica's not that good.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Celica has nothing to offer once, like, after you lose her.
Actually, I think I should swap these.
Because, like, sure, she's good for that magic burst damage at the start, and even then, I really think she's only useful during the Fahrenheit arc. She starts losing her luster in Brodia, and then once she's gone,
She's
yeah,
like, you
there's
kind of
just
forget
nothing.
about her. And
Like,
it's not
she
even
doesn't
like her
even offer.
paralog. It's not even like her paralog unlocks anything good.
Yeah, because, like, you know what? Let me just open this up on the side, just for like assistance in that. Because
Yeah.
like she has Holy Stance, which I mean, I
Not
guess
that
it's
good.
okay. It's okay. I mean, it's okay because once you fight the later chapters, you're fighting mostly corrupted units. So
Yeah, but it's only
yeah,
gonna
I
be like
guess it's
half
okay.
damage, and also that also implies that you have to inherit the skill or have it.
Yeah. So no, inheriting Celica's, like, if you're inheriting Celica's skills, you're throwing. Just right off
Yep.
the bat, you're throwing.
Yep.
Like, who's going to inherit favorite food? Like, really?
Marth is a bit niche, with only being able to work on fast units and having slightly iffy engage weapons. Sure, Lodestar Rush is a very good attack. You just have to get past its very low damage output if you're not like the strongest. Because even on the Leer, it's not that great.
Honestly, I tend to do. I mean, I do like agree with the placement, but not for the reasons that you are saying. Because personally, I think Rapier is honestly fine as a
Oh yeah,
weapon,
it
and
is for the early game, yeah. And Mercurius,
Mercurius
is
is good for
grinding.
XP games, and Falchion, having that effective against dragons, even if it doesn't really help right away because you're not fighting wyverns, is still nice. And like the stats and the skills that Marth gets like break defenses, the avoid skills, which are actually really good in maddening in particular because you want avoid. Like, Marth honestly is pretty good. The problem is that once you lose him and then you get him back really late, that's the thing that kills Marth, because you just lose so much time with him.
Yeah. He's just mid, but like he's not bad.
Like, he's not bad. If you got him back sooner, I honestly would put him much higher. But
That
because
is
you
also
get him,
true.
but because you get him so late, I genuinely cannot put him higher than where he is.
Yeah. Who is next? Micaiah. Micaiah's very good for all healers with great sacrifice, giving temporary use of staves, but that's pretty much all you'll get. Her weapons are not that good.
Okay, I would argue that she also is in must-have, because what makes her really good is not so much for great sacrificing, more so her warp skipping, which, depending on how you play maps, could be really essential in certain levels, especially Chapter 25. Oh my god. If you don't want to spend hours and hours on Chapter 25, warp skipping is pretty much essential.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Yeah, the whole, I actually keep forgetting what skill it is that allows her to have bigger staff effect range.
I think it's no, it's not cleric. What is it?
I think
It's augment.
Yeah.
Yeah, staff range +5, area effect +1. So you just put her in a box and just of units, and then use rewarp, and then you just go ham. You just skip half of the map.
Yep.
I think for that reason alone, Micaiah should be a must-have.
Yeah, you kind of convinced me. She really is that good. Roy is a lot better than I initially thought.
For real. Like,
sword power, holdouts, and also having just very good weapons for any sword unit you want.
Plus, he just makes any of your units just a giant stat ball, and it only gets better as you increase the bond with him.
Just remember to not use Blazing Lion in an area that doesn't set your other units on fire. It's not
Right,
too
yeah.
specific on what the area of effect actually is. But other
Yeah,
than that, he has fantastic skills to inherit.
like for real, Roy is easily one of the better ones. Yeah, sure, his engage attack is not the best, but it's not always about the engage attacks.
Yep. And also, the engage attack also can help make you make a choke point in a bad situation.
Yeah, no, big W for Roy.
Yep. Funny enough, how you have one of the better attack skills when your strength is so bad in Binding Blade.
For real.
Sigurd is a bit niche. Like, sure, momentum and movement's really good, but like that's kind of all you get. I guess Lance Power too, but you only have like.
Tamara.
Funny enough, I never
Lance Power
used.
Tamara.
Funny enough, I only used Speed Taker and Wrath on Tamara.
Try a playthrough with her with Lance Power.
You know, it's
Try
fair
that one.
enough. It's just that I kind of want to ensure that she doubles units to get that double Sandstorm proc, as also, you know, Wrath.
I suppose so, but I mean, like, I think she's fast enough where she can.
Wolf Knights.
Right. Wolf Knights. Right.
But
I
still,
want to
Sigurd
forget.
really does help with getting any cav unit half across the map and then just set them there and watch them kill, if you so desire to build a unit like that.
Plus,
I think
if
there's
you
not much
see a
else to
line
say.
of
Yeah?
plus, if you see a line of Cavaliers, you know what to do.
I mean, how do you get them out?
What?
How do you suppose you'll get them out?
Well, I mean, it's quite simple. You have, for example, Sigurd's, well, not Sigurd's Leaf's paralog, and you see that line of Cavaliers, like, you know, building up. They're in that perfect line. It's all too tempting to just use that overdrive Rider's Bane and just to see all those Cavaliers just die.
That's pretty fair.
Like, Sigurd's so fun.
Leaf is solid only because of his weapon mastery skill inheritance.
And he does have advantage.
And that too. And if you actually bother with relay trials, you can actually make Master Lance into a fantastic weapon. As a brave ranged weapon. So on Penex,
Yeah, like-
no less.
Like, yeah, no, like, Leaf just has a lot of, like, good prospects. Like, as you mentioned, the weapon proficiencies, having Vantage and all that stuff, and being one of the only emblems that give a considerable amount of build. It's just a shame that literally everything else about Leaf sucks.
Yeah, but yeah, the only thing I can really say is once you have Leaf in the early game, use him. You just take advantage of it, and then you're kind of set.
Yeah. If not for weapon proficiencies alone.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we got Lin. Is a must-have.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to not be a Lin believer, but yeah, no, Lin is
I
so
say
good.
better than Byleth, really, because Speed Taker is good. Astra Storm is... I think it's just the value of Speed Taker, really.
Speed Taker and Speed +5 are both meta skills in Maddening, so...
And also the fact that she has a free killer bow, Monikati, and if you want to actually use create doubles to firstly have four flesh shields, and also just having a giant chain of chain attacks.
Yeah, I still find it so funny that if enemies are around, they will just straight up just go for the doubles, even if they could probably kill one of your other units. They will just always go for the doubles.
And the fact that the doubles also have decent avoid sometimes.
Yeah, especially if you put them on the right unit.
Yep. Lucina. That's a ring, all right.
Well, the thing is that what we talked about before with like Bondage Shield, because she's better for Bondage Shield and giving dual assist, and compare that up with units like, say, the aforementioned Fram, and that's where Lucina truly decides to shine. Because if you're trying to use Lucina as frontline or pure utility, you're not going to get much usage out of Lucina, but strange enough, if you use Lucina as a sort of tank, that's where she shines the most.
I suppose that's true. I just have issues with like how Bonded Shield is kind of an iffy skill with only one practical use, and the fact that you also kind of need to, you know, have that ideal scenario that can you use Bonded Shield without having Fram get hit from somewhere else.
No,
Like,
you
sure,
see, that's the thing,
sure,
though.
dual assist is incredibly useful on so many units, and just helps make giant imaginary chains that kind of make handling enemies a joke as long as you're all in a big group. But it's just a bit niche to try to use her.
You see, the thing with that, what you just said about the whole, you'll have to be careful if Fram doesn't get hit herself. The thing is, because of the way that Bonded Shield works with Fram in particular, she also will barely get hit as well, because her avoid rate will also skyrocket. Because like I tested it out in a run of my own, and it's almost completely foolproof.
I suppose that's true.
Like, honestly, the best combination, like, I would argue that Fram and Lucina is the best unit emblem combination in the game.
Huh, that's shocking. So where do you suppose I should put Lucina then?
I would say that, like, putting her in must-have is a little bit too much, depending on how you use Lucina, but I think limited edition is fair.
Alright.
You could put it, like, at the bottom of it.
Ike.
No arguments there.
Wrath is, great. His hammer's a bit awkward because it's a smash weapon, but Irvon is a very accurate axe that can easily just go on Panettes. And, Ragnall.
It's Ragnall.
And Lagu's friend just helping with anyone's defense issues instantly. And boom, you just have a Omni tank. And that's kind of what helped Kagetsu so much in Fel Xenologue.
Yeah, no, for real.
And
like,
Boucheron.
Like, yeah, sure, like, Lagu's friend won't really help won't help too much on the sort of squishier units. Like, more defense isn't really going to help them all that much, but if you're putting Ike on a unit like Citrine, you're throwing.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be real here.
Right.
Again, the terrains are so situational. And that's all I can really say. It's such a situational ring.
Okay. Hear me out. So, if you don't have the DLC, you put Camille. Wow, what? You put
Good
Corrin.
job.
You put Corrin on a Lear or Veil. You have access.
You forgot her name. No, you forgot her name. You forgot her name.
What?
You forgot her name. Your argument's
Veil?
invalid. No, Corrin's name.
No. Be quiet. Shut up. Shut up. If you put Corrin on... Okay, you know what? It honestly doesn't even matter that I messed up the name too, because you could do this with Camilla, but anyway, if you don't have the DLC, if you put Corrin on Veil or Alir, you have access to the entire terrain, like shifting abilities. So you can play around with Corrin however way you want. You have full control of how you control Corrin. And more or less, there are so many useful things that you can do with Corrin, such as you put Fog on covert units. It doesn't really help too much with mid game, but it does help a lot with late game, because it does help out with the avoid tanking, like, quite a lot. You have it on, again, Corrin or Veil. You have Alir or Veil. So you just have access to the entire terrain abilities. And even then, most of them are pretty good on their own. Like, I think backup units have access to stone pillars, which increase defense and res, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it does.
Like armored units like creates vines, which causes anyone that's standing on it to not be broken, which can be handy in its own way.
Yeah.
Like Corrin is very tricky to use, I will admit. She can be very tricky to use, but if you use her on the right unit, it could make or break the game for you.
Yeah, that's still not going to change it.
Yeah, I can't really argue against that. Like, I won't argue against the position that you currently have Corrin in. I do think she's much better, but it just depends on which unit you put her on.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put her on the right unit, I will admit that Corrin doesn't really do much for you.
Because like, it's such a hassle trying to figure out who she works with. And
yeah,
you're almost done with the game when you get her.
You get her at chapter 15.
And she's auto-equipped to Seidal, your dancer.
I mean, it's not the worst option to put on him. At least
your dancer.
Look, at least for chapter 15. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. But that's what we have to deal with. But now...
Yeah. Really?
Lunar Brace is a very good skill, as well as, you know, she also comes with Rapier. She also comes with Gentility, which is just a free 3 damage reduced. It's not much.
Oh my god, I actually forgot about Gentility. Yeah, no, never mind. No, she's definitely must have. I completely forgot about Gentility.
Yeah. Lunar Brace, Gentility. She is a corrupted slaying machine. And once you get Sieglind, it's basically a budget Emblem Alir who just slays any corrupted. So yeah.
Erica's actually pretty broken. I'm so glad that it's just her.
Yep, and no one else.
Yeah, no one else. And like all that grunting that you hear when you do twin strikes, ignore it. It's just a fly.
Then we have the DLC emblems. So let's be real, it's just Edelgard that matters.
Yes, it is just Edelgard. Okay, well to be fair, like
no, I mean it's still considered Edelgard's ring.
Oh, that's what you meant. Then yeah.
Yes. Raging Storm. It's only Raging Storm and Fallen Star that actually matter in terms of combat arts.
Yeah, Atrocity is just whatever.
Yeah, I mean, sure you do have Shield Gambit, which is really good because it helps you tank ballistas.
Yeah, but it also just depends entirely on when you get Dimitri, because
that is like the one drawback to it. But as long as your combat arts are not affected by this.
Yeah, like actually it can sometimes, because it could be weapon sync.
That's also
their
true.
Skill, which is a really good skill.
It's surprisingly good, yeah.
Like it's really good, but if you want that extra damage, you either have to engage or just hope that the unit that coincides with the combat art is out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, if you want that extra damage, like, say you want to use Fallen Star from Failnaught, you're not engaged, you don't have the ability to be engaged, but you want that extra damage. But Claude is not the one that's out right now. Well, tough shit.
Yeah, it's inconsistent, but surprisingly good when you can, because you can inherit it.
That is true.
Yeah. So you give it to, Sigurd, and give it someone who has Sigurd and someone using a Brave Lance. Boom, that's 20 damage.
Indeed.
There's literally no argument about Tiki. She is just the best emblem in the game.
Well,
I mean, how else would you explain giving someone a revival zone, just having a unit that firstly grants so much more HP, a lot more defense, giving the ability to have enhanced growth rates, a free auto heal when you just select wait, an Eternal Claw is just a free killer weapon that just goes crazy.
My one issue with Tiki is that depending on who you give Tiki to, she will just outright nerf their damage, and there is nothing you can do about
Then that's
it.
why you give her to a physical unit.
Yeah, yeah, but then again, that limits what Tiki should be on. And the thing is, with Tiki, if we're talking about units, like unit value, that means that like if you were to put them on almost any unit, they would be good no matter what. But Tiki, I mean, no, I still think she's a must-have. Like that's without a doubt. But the best emblem in the game, I'm not sure if I still agree with that.
Like, okay, what physical unit do you think should nerf?
Through my experience, she nerfs Chloe because she nerfs an invested Chloe because with if you have Chloe with Lance power
Okay,
and
that I
it's
can see.
invested, Tiki Eternal Claw will just straight up do less damage, and there is nothing you can do about it.
That's true. I know it's not really much merit using this in arguments, but Tamara with Tiki Ring, proccing Sandstorm with that. That is scary.
It is.
I do see the merit in like, yeah, if you have any unit with like a power skill, then yeah, that's a straight up downgrade. But it still doesn't like change the fact that Geosphere helps them make more of a tank. It's also a free auto heal button in a tight situation by just having them heal nonstop. The and again, I depending on like what other weapons you have, depending on what type of unit you are, Tiki still hits really, really hard. And it just has to be any unit that doesn't need any of that backup help.
Indeed.
But
Yeah.
I still think she is the best unit in the game, best emblem in the game. And now
Okay, fair
onto
enough.
bad ones. Hector is
Oh, boy.
so weird, and I don't know what they were going for.
Bro, Hector is only decently good on your tanks.
Yeah,
That's
with only
about it.
adaptability and quick riposte. But other than that,
Which-
Storm's Eye is a bit niche. Because that requires you to have your tank to like stand there against the other enemies. And it only works for like a couple amount of times, I think. And
Yeah, like though
Yeah.
granted, Storm's Eye does allow you to follow up, and it does allow it cancels follow ups. It allows you to follow up, and I think you also can't be broken either.
yeah. But that's given that you're not already an armored unit.
Yeah.
But Hector is still
Surprisingly
weird.
enough, Alfred is honestly kind of decent with Hector,
That's true. That is true.
but it doesn't change the fact of just how niche Hector is.
Yep. But then immediately we have Soren. Like, there's literally
Yeah.
nothing. We've already talked about how good Soren makes magic users. Amna Focus, Flare, and it's just great. Also, you know,
Like-
the only bolting weapon in the game.
Yeah. Granted, bolting is rather inaccurate, but you can fix that with support
Supports,
bonuses. So, yeah, no, Soren is 100% a must-have, assuming you can have the DLC, of course.
Camilla, I would say, is a pretty good limited edition.
Yeah, she's just corn, but better.
Making literally anybody a flyer. So your Seidol can walk across water and just follow any flyer around, get more movement. And if you really wanted to, Dark Inferno can do some decent damage. But you know, it's just really the fact that she can make someone into a flyer. That's the real kicker. As well as
True,
2 more
indeed.
movements. Crom is niche.
Crom is an emblem.
An emblem, alright. Oh god, stop doing that. Okay, there we go. You know. Crom is weird. Sure, Rally Spectrum is good, but that's only for a Rally Spectrum. You have Thoron, Levin Sword, and Falchion. Not the strongest engage weapon lineup either. That's all I can really say.
Brute Force can honestly be pretty okay to inherit on your crit dealers. So someone like Panette or Rafal could make some pretty decent usage out of Brute Force,
That
but
is true, but that's also in place of another skill slot.
that is true. So maybe just Rafal.
And also, that's also implying that you don't have enough strength.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, and Rafal and Panette don't really struggle with strength.
Yep. So that's
Oh
why
boy, Veronica.
I'm only saying this because Veronica's skills are not the strongest. Sure, Reprisals broken. Summoning a hero is also another very good aspect of her abilities.
Unless you only get like a 3-star every single time.
That's a skill issue. Just get lucky.
Bullshit.
I mean, you've seen how many 5 stars I've gotten.
Yeah,
Uh,
how many summons do you have in the actual game, huh?
um, I just remember myself getting a lot of 4 stars and 5 stars randomly.
I'm
Uh,
not I'm not talking about Engage.
oh well, fuck you. Uh, but yeah, no. Yeah, Book of Worlds is so weird. It's such a niche skill, and you'll almost never ever get all the way to Book 5. Um,
Granted, all the effects that happens with Book 5 is pretty sweet,
but
but
like that implies that you have
I
to dance 2 times.
like nah, it's just not worth it. And besides, most of the time when you get to this point, you'll want to just kill things.
Like, sure, Hilosk Jelf is a weapon that prevents the enemy from counterattacking, which is makes it very unique in that regard.
Yeah, that's
Um,
just a really good engage weapon.
she also has no Fortify Plus is what she has as her level 10 weapon, which is decent, but uh, no, it's just decent. But you'd rather spend that turn attacking
And then
or
there's
contract.
Elvigar.
Um, Yeah, the enemy will almost never have any stat buffs, making Elevigar almost useless with the effect.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
kind of pointless.
yeah. I would have preferred Enclosing Dark, but we didn't get that. Why did they go with your book 6 appearance and keep your book 1 personality?
Which is weird. And the thing about Elvigar, which is weird because if you look at the battle sprite in game and when she attacks with her tome,
Yeah, she
it's
has Enclosing
very
Dark.
clearly enclosing dark. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird.
Yep. But that doesn't deny that she is still a very solid emblem.
Yeah, like Veronica's solid for what she offers. Can't
Yep.
really complain too much.
Hey, we've been at this for 2.5 hours.
Yes, we have.
Jesus Christ, this took so much longer than I thought.
I mean, hey, that's just the magic of engaged tier list. There's just so much to talk about.
That is very true. Uh, but yeah,
Like
no.
as opposed to like say a three houses tier list, but it will only be 5 minutes because everyone would be on the same tier because Wyvern Rider.
Yep. Unless you're Ignatz.
Yes, unless you're Ignatz
Yep.
or Ash
Yep.
or Anna.
Also, yep. Ah, boy. Uh, man, I'm. Man, this. Yeah, no, I'm still a little bit surprised that it took this long. I thought this would be like, sure, maybe like 45 minutes. No. Like, hell fucking no.
I mean, I love how part of that. I'm pretty sure 10 or 15 minutes of the entire runtime was dedicated to us arguing about Lapis and Klon
Yeah. I think
and
most of the
how.
time was spent on Fiorne.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on Fear Day.
Uh, but with that is my technically final judgment on most of these emblems.
Lapis is not canon.
She is. Shut up.
No,
You you
no.
you. Your opinion is wrong. Lapis is a bad unit.
My opinion is correct.
She is a
Just
shame.
as
She's a shame to all the other predecessors of sword users.
nope, incorrect. Not canon.
It is entirely correct. She is just
Mm-mm.
not good.
Not listening to you. Not canon.
Oh
It's
my,
Kirby. Kirby's not good in Engage.
oh my god. Uh, well, at least we know that Smash Ultimate is safe from getting another Fire Emblem rep.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Uh, wow, wait till Smash 6 is now. But yeah, no, I do want to thank you for like joining me with this, so you can see these hot takes on the engaged people.
Of course.
Uh,
Of course.
just to know that Lapis will just be right there.
Not canon.
It is.
Not. Switch that with Klon and then I'll agree.
To, uh, but with that, I do want to thank everyone for watching who might have stuck all the way to the end of this much longer video than I thought it would be. But uh, yeah, I guess this really be the final thing I do that is Fire Emblem Engage related, because man, that series took so much longer than I thought it would.
Indeed.
Uh, well, I'm Gung Ho Dynamo, and that's 5 points, and he'll be fired for defending Lapis as much as he did.
Not canon.
Which,
And I'll gladly go on strike. I don't care. I will defend Lapis to the day I die.
and that day is now. We wish everyone watching a good day, and see you on
Damn,
next
you're
time.
threatening me.
No. Oh, man. uh, well, yeah, I guess that really will be it.